Children today now love luxury, they have bad manners, they show disrespect. And it sounds very common, like any parent would be saying this right now. But it's actually from Socrates.
They know a lot and that's why they're reckless. We are being rigid because we think that, oh my god, I know it, I have read it somewhere, so I know is another form of rigidity, and that same I know is there in our parents, and that is there to protect the child.
How's quarantine going?
Oh, it has started to take a toll on me now. I'm starting to get really worried about a few things. And
Oh.
यार मेरे को तेरे से बात बतानी थी. Shit. Anyways, हाँ, okay, sorry.
Are you comfortable sharing it on a podcast?
कोरोना वायरस या कोविड-19 से आज पूरा देश लड़ रहा है, पर याद रहे हमें बीमारी से लड़ना है, बीमार से नहीं. उनसे भेदभाव ना करें.
So, introduction.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Rants. And I'm sure you're here because you've probably heard our trailer or you already know us. So there's no point introducing us. But in case you are someone doesn't know us, well, Vijay, do you have any thoughts about them?
Oh, I'm very surprised if you're someone who's that. But you could also be one of those people who has favorited our podcast and are like creepy people. You are also welcome, by the way.
Who got the wrong idea about late
Yeah.
night rants? So, anyways, if there is anyone who's new and who doesn't know who Vijay and Anupul are, well, I'd like to say I'm 6'1". I have a big and bright smile and I have big eyes. And that's the only perception I want you to have of me. And because you can't see me, and because once you start listening to me, I'm sure it's gonna go in a downward spiral. So, yeah. What would you like to say about yourself?
On the contrary, I wouldn't like to define myself. I would like people to tell me what they perceive of how I would look like from my voice, which I think a lot of people would firstly think I'm a guy. So, yeah, we are two college
Okay.
friends who are going to be ranting about a couple of topics that we've shortlisted over this lockdown period and throughout our lives. And we, anyways, have these 3M conversations, so we thought of recording them because somewhere someone might relate to them, and if somewhere someone might not relate to them, they might feel better about their lives that they're actually doing work and not just ranting like us.
Yeah, they're not a couple of losers.
So either way, you are like gonna feel good about yourself after listening to this. So obviously, because of the current lockdown situation, how no one else is able to get out of their houses and is stuck with their parents and has been brought face to face with them to have some very interesting conversations and at the same time have major disagreements. So that has triggered me to take up this topic, the inevitable generation gap.
Like, did anything happen recently where you felt like you clinging on to your free college self and your parents sort of getting stuck in the idea of how they want things to happen right now, have sort of created a clash or a conflict between the two of you?
Okay, yeah. So, I've been living with my parents and my grandparents during this quarantine time, and I have had the opportunity to analyze the perspective of three generations simultaneously. My dad works in a government job and he is in the essential services, so he is going to office every single day. But on Saturdays and Sundays, when he's free and these household chores have been distributed amongst all the family members, and major part of it is done by me and my brother because we're completely free. I've seen him like not helping around so much in that. His belief is that this is not my work. Like, for example, setting the dining table. So he would be calling us to set the dining table, and I was really frustrated on that day because of all the work suddenly that came upon me because of this quarantine, and so much I'd overthought already. And I came down and told him that you could have, instead of calling us up 2 3 times, you could have done it by now. And I said it in a tone that was louder, and my nani was right there, and she listened, and she just couldn't get over the fact that I was talking to my father in that tone. So even though I was saying something correct that she also agreed with, but she was so overwhelmed by the fact that I was saying it in that tone that she completely took an opposite side, and she started scolding me instead. And my father, on the other hand, was completely okay with the tone that I was talking in. He just wasn't open to the opinion. So I saw like three generations and their different opinions on the same subject. How my nani was valuing the values more. Like, she just couldn't get over the fact that you should be
Hmm.
talking to your elders in this way. And my father was focusing on the concept, was not that open. And I, like I am doing right now, was just ranting. So these three generations of different opinions and thoughts, and giving priorities to different values, was in that particular moment that I saw.
Wow. Yeah, I actually want to know because from what you said, I could actually draw parallels and even sort of see this evolution of mind.
Yeah.
Again, like with our generation, we've been exposed to so many things around
Mm-hmm.
and so many different ideas, not just in terms of our work or things we are passionate about, but even ideas like socio-economic and socio-political ideas about stuff. Like our parents didn't know what feminism was or
Yeah.
what's the effect of patriarchy. We, on the other hand, we know all that stuff and we have evolved, and a lot of that evolution has happened in our early adult phase, like post adolescence, basically when we were in college, and we met so many people with different ideas, and apart from that we had all these conversations about what exactly is stopping our society from growing. So from there, going back into our houses and like seeing that our houses, even though they these small families who are struggling with all these things might become the biggest agents of change, but somewhere they are still stuck over there, and I think that's where it takes a toll on our minds as well.
How with being open to so many views, we know that everything that's happening around, we can question it. Just this whole awareness of, this particular concept, this particular situation can be questioned, was probably not there in their generation. They didn't know that this thing could be
Exactly.
questioned
Yeah.
as well.
100%. Yeah, yeah. I also know why this is happening. Like for me, my father, he hails from Varanasi, and my mom is from Patna. They started there, and then suddenly they decided to move to Delhi. Ever since they came there, they had to set up everything on their own.
Right.
So like from scratch, they had nothing. At that point of time, for them, the reality was that they had to create stuff, and they were in a phase when even the country was developing its economy. But for them, it was like they had to set up everything. So that was the biggest worry in their mind.
Right.
The first thing that I struggle with all the time, I want to be more open to conversations, and like my parents are not.
Yeah.
They don't get what introspection is, or what improving yourself in a way is. Like for them, the ideas are still stuck in that phase of creating a life for yourself, creating a material world for yourself. So breaking that mold is very tough, especially with my parents.
Yeah, I feel like they're also confused in that aspect of giving us how much freedom they want to give us. They're like, we want you to have a stable career. We also want to give you the liberty of experimenting with things. And they're confused on what balance they should be providing us, or like what kind of freedom they should be providing us. So that confusion in them is leading even more confusion in us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so going on to what bothers me the most about it. In this quarantine time, it's mostly about how me and my brother never get up on time, and how all the problems that we deal with in our lives is because of that. If we wake up on time and that is 6 in the morning, we wake up at 8 and that's late for
Hmm.
them. If you wake up at 6,
Hmm.
everything would be solved, from my gastrointestinal problems to me finding a job. Like for them, it's that. And there's no logic behind it, but
Yeah, I mean, I get your frustration. And the sad thing about this is that it doesn't really end there.
yeah.
So even I had this get up early debacle in college because I was living with my parents only. Now it got sorted because I get up even before them. But again, now they have new things about me that they complain about or they bicker about.
Yeah.
And I know that somewhere that's really not the real concern. But if I talk to them, they will never express their real concern or like their true feelings about what they're really worried about.
Parents do not express their feelings at all. When we talked about this, when we said humanization of parents is something that bothers us the most, that why can't you just be a friend? Why can't you express your normal feelings to me about what is bothering you?
Hmm.
Like I would see my mom in a
Hmm.
tiff and I would ask her what is troubling you, and she wouldn't tell me. Like I am grown enough to share her financial or emotional troubles or whatever she's going through. I mean, my dad does it, but it's mostly under the influence of alcohol. And why do we need to wait for that? Why can't you just be open and tell me about things?
I think this is a struggle that everyone faces with their parents. Parents are not vulnerable with you for some reason. I used to think it's because they think that I'm not settled yet and I have other worries in my life. But my sister is settled now. She has a family, she's working, she has a kid and
Mm.
everything. They don't share everything with her as well. They don't share their troubles with her because now they have this excuse that she has a kid and she has her own life and she has her own stuff to deal
Yeah.
with. They never get vulnerable with me.
They don't have to show us that they're ideal parents all the time.
And how do you think we can keep an open mind, and do you think we'll ever be successful in keeping an open mind?
Like if we become the older generation later.
Yeah, when we are older.
Oh, so that's like how we can bridge the gap, and the suggestions that we would make to our parents also right now would be to just listen more, just be more aware about not just trends but how things are changing around. Be more aware about the social media culture. Like my parents are not on Instagram, they don't know what Instagram is. I don't want them to be on Instagram too, but just be aware
Yeah.
about what that platform is. Why are people so obsessed about it? They are on Facebook and they've completely ruined Facebook. We can talk about it at length later, but just being open to experimentation. It's not about staying relevant, but I feel they shouldn't have a dismissive attitude towards newer concepts. Or even if there's a fear of staying relevant with their kids, that fear shouldn't lead to rigidity, that they get to a point where they want to impose their own values on their kids. Because values and concepts stay over time, like respecting your parents, listening to them. These are fundamental, basic things that will remain throughout generations. The way of expressing them would change over time, and just be open to your kids' thoughts, to your own thoughts. Tell them about your old stories. It's funny how, like, even being from the younger generation, you can relate to the older generation on some of the concepts. Like, I can vouch for
Yeah.
you and me when we talk about monogamous relationship and fidelity. So I relate to their concepts. I have my own concepts. I just want to bring about a balance between their concepts and my concepts, and want them to talk to me like I'm talking to you right now. So that's
Yeah.
what I want, so that we can bridge this gap later.
Conversations can really help. I don't know what's it with the generation of our parents. I don't know why they don't want to talk about things. I am totally on board with the fact that they definitely are trying to protect me of things. And I think no matter how much technology advances, the emotions or the things that say a couple struggles with, or a man struggles with, or a woman struggles
Yeah.
with the feelings that are actually personal and not dependent on the stimulus that our society is giving us, are somewhere the same, because we are humans.
Yeah.
Obviously, with technology, our feelings and emotions are only getting more and more complicated. So I'm pretty sure that any feeling that we feel right now is something that our parents have already
Oh
gone through.
yeah. There's this I don't know it's a quote or what, but like I read it somewhere. Children today now love luxury, they have bad manners, they show disrespect. And it sounds very common, like any parent would be saying this right now. But it's
Yeah,
actually from
yeah.
Socrates in from 400 BC. So
Oh, okay.
so basically, this thing has existed over a while, and it's funny how the complaining nature has still remained the same.
Yeah, and it makes so much more sense. I mean,
Mhm.
my grandparents would have said the same thing to my parents, that I gave you the luxury to go
Yeah.
into a new city and like create this nuclear family of yours. And now my father can say the same thing about me. Ki I have given you the luxury of this choice of you sort of taking a halt on life and reflecting of what your next step can be, whereas I did not have that choice. I had to do stuff and I had to provide.
Yeah. So, what do you like about the generation gap?
Are we somehow
Yeah, it's very difficult, but what do you like about the
what
generation
I
gap?
like about the generation gap?
It doesn't help you in any way if it does.
I think like even with my mom and how I see her with my sisters, I think because of the generation gap, she enjoys the trend.
Oh.
Like she likes what's trending. Like so she's really excited about fashion. She always has been. And like she used to even
Mm-hmm.
sew and knit when she was younger. And as my sisters are growing up, she likes to keep in
Mm-hmm.
touch with style and what's in style at that point of time. So that even if she can't wear it, she can make her daughters wear it. So I like, and like because in our times there are retro looks and a lot of styles from yesteryears are coming back. So she really enjoys when they come back, and she has a take on that key. I used to wear
Oh.
puff when I
Yeah.
was younger, and I used to do this and I used to do that. Or that we had polka dot prints when we were younger.
Yeah.
Whenever we fall in that category, or we somehow tread along the lines of things that they agree upon, they are really happy to contribute and to be a part of it and relive those moments. Also, another thing that I think it's both good and bad about the generation gap. The resistance that you feel from the elders anywhere, be it your family or be it your workplace. It's sort of, I don't know, that time when you're fighting with them, it sort of gives you that buffer period to reflect upon what you're really deciding or choosing for yourself. And why it's both good and bad is that if this resistance could be a little smoother, it would help both the generations. I feel it would be easier on us, because say if I go to my father and we are not agreeing upon something and he asks me not to do it, and like he says it to me bluntly and like really aggressively. If I am adhering to everything he says, I won't be listening to my true self. And if I am rebelling against him and doing exactly
Yeah.
the opposite of what he's telling me to do, I'm still not being instinctive and being authentic about what I really want or what I want to do. So it takes up a lot of energy, I feel.
Yeah, to not lose yourself in the process of telling them what you want and as well as understanding to their needs.
Yeah, obviously. And plus, like, they are my past and they will be my future. So whatever life I build around, I want them to be a part of it. So, like, help me create that for myself. So the extent to which a person is insecure in his 20s is limitless. And that's why the two of us are not really enough for each other for validation or approval. So we have to call someone else as well. So today we have my elder sister with us. Her name is Nupur. Hi.
Hi.
So my sister is actually 10 years older to me, which has always been very fascinating. However, I'm pretty sure she did not like that I just told everyone that she's 10 years older to me. But she just turned into a new mother, and we've always had this sort of age gap between us, which sort of is a pseudo generation gap in which I was always coming up with new stuff for her as well. And it's not that we were always very alienated to each other's struggles. When, like, in my teenage years, we started to connect a lot more on a lot of other grounds as well. And suddenly, that gap that I had with her, it started to reduce. We have had the opportunity to struggle with the same parents. So, a lot of our struggles are actually similar in a way, but not exactly the same. She's actually a triple MA. She did her bachelor's in political science, then she did a master's in political science, then she did a master's in mass communication. From there, before that only, while she was pursuing it, she was already a journalist with the Indian Express. And then she did another master's
Woohoo!
in public administration. And because
Oh.
now she has switched from journalism to PR, and she's with an advertising agency, and she works with clients in marketing and public relations.
So, for the first question, for you growing up, what were the problems related to the generation gap that you faced? The one with your parents and the one with Anukul.
It was a time when our parents, they were struggling. They were in their youth actually, and they were struggling to make their careers and make both ends meet and make a better career for their children. So these were the focus areas, and the struggle was much more because even Indian economy, if you talk about our country, privatization was just introduced, and there were governments. We did not have stable governments. The political setup, it was impacting the economy of the country as well as the financial status of the families. So that had an implication on a lot of families as well. The families you know, uh, uh, who were at the cusp of getting better financially. So we were one of those families. And while struggling, somewhere I think our parents, they became little mature, in a very different way because they were struggling for their careers, they were struggling with children, and sometimes they were, in our case, our parents had to stay separately as well because our father had to go out, to another country to earn so that we can have a very good life, and he gave us that life.
Yeah.
But it has an impact on a person, and it had that impact in our family. We felt it. So when our father came, he was absent for a very long time in our lives. He did not have that kind of presence. So our mother was playing the role of both our father and mother. So what happened was we got closer to our mother. But at the same time, there was this mental gap with our father.
Right.
And when there is a mental gap, the generation gap, it takes a leap forward, great leap forward. So if it's like a 20 years generation gap, if there is a distance in family who are staying, away from each other, then that mental gap, it doubles that generation gap. So that same thing happened, and when it happens with one parent, it gradually it you develop it with both the parents. So that happened with us in the beginning. I was very close to my parents. When I was growing up, they used to understand everything.
Right.
As a child, they'll understand your needs, your mental needs, your physical needs, everything. So they'll feed you, they'll take proper care of you, they'll encourage you to share more and more with them, and they have that kind of patience also to listen to you.
Yeah.
But when you start growing up, you cross your teen age, then they become little conservative about things. I mean, that's totally what I'm speaking from my experience. I'm not saying that all the parents are
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
There are parents who are different also, right? So in our case, that's what happened, um, because my father wanted to make for all the lost years and everything. So
Right.
when he came back, while he was quite a loving, he is quite a loving father. He's very caring. He's very possessive also. So his possessiveness about me, I think I think that it increased quite a bit when he came back. So that possessiveness, sometimes what happens is when we get very possessive, that's what I'm now realizing, because now I am a mother also. So I'm realizing that that possessiveness increases over a period of time, and if you don't kind of understand at that point only that your possessiveness and your obsession for your kids is increasing, then the generation gaps becomes more
Right.
glaring.
Right.
So it shows up, and it shows up in everything. If you want to explain something to your parents, then they'll say, "Ki, nahi, we know, we have seen, we have struggled a lot, and we have seen a lot of things, so we
Right.
want that you should not face all those struggles, so that's why we are stopping you." So it's their care only, but that care takes form of possession and obsession, and then I think that generation gap, it really becomes glaring. So in my case, as I was growing up, I noticed that my generation gap with my parents, it was increasing every day. I mean, in my later 20s, I realized it. But before that, I never, I don't know, I don't even recall that there was a generation gap.
Right.
So, and with Anukul, if I talk about Anukul, then yes, it reduced. He's right. Because when he was young, then I was I was the one who used to just keep him at bay. Ke, no, you don't have to be naughty, and actually I enjoyed it when he was being naughty, but then
Yeah,
because
tormenting me.
yeah, because my father was not here, so I also had to take care of my
Right.
siblings also. That, I mean, I took that responsibility. I don't know if that was needed or not, but I took it on me that no, I have to take care of them, I have to protect them.
Yeah.
So when you try to become a protector, then I think you create a barrier, a boundary. And that kind of, yes, that other person will see it as a generation gap when that person grows up. And when once Anukul started growing up, I I was still protective of him, but it was not needed, of me to protect him the way I used to protect him earlier. So that generation gap over a period of time, it reduced. We could discuss everything, you know. So that's the kind of comfort I have with him. Just sticking to the generation gap question that you asked, it definitely reduced over a period of time. Yes.
Yeah, I completely relate to your point on, and I get this more because I think as the first child, you also see your parents getting better at parenting. You've also talked about how, as a parent, you now understand more about the obsession that you saw in your parents growing up. So, in that aspect, how do you feel in the future? What are the steps that you feel you would want to take with your child in order to bridge that gap, and to the technological changes in general, because the world is going
Hmm.
haywire with the technological innovations.
The one instinct that nature gives them when they become parents is to protect the child.
Right.
And sometimes that instinct takes over other instincts. So that's the reason they seem rigid. They're not actually rigid. They're just trying to protect you. And rigidity as a behavior is not. It's not limited to parents or being a.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am rigid. Even I am rigid, and I was rigid when I was 25 also. Then also I was
Yeah.
rigid, because you are so exposed to knowledge and information today. It's so much easy today to form, to be judgmental, to form a judgment about everything. Because I see everywhere. If you see a Facebook or a LinkedIn post or whatever, you see people are forming opinions like anything.
Yeah.
We are being rigid because we think that, oh my god, I know it, I have read it somewhere, so I know, I know is another form of rigidity.
Yeah.
And that same I know is there in our parents.
Yeah.
And that is there to protect the child. So if you view from this lens, you will see that their I know is better than our I know. Because we are being arrogant when we say I know, and they're just being protective when they say I know.
Okay.
So I think rigidity has to be looked from, it has to be looked from different perspective.
Right.
By saying this, I'm not saying that being rigid is good. It's not good for any relationship for anybody. You have to evolve with time.
Yeah.
You cannot be without being flexible, because change is constant. You have to change. Everybody has to change. As you said, technology is going haywire,
Yeah.
and everything's changing, like every moment as we speak something is changing again. So when it becomes a way of life, you still understand. But once you get introduced to a particular thing, after you cross a particular age, yes, it becomes difficult. So I think our parents, with the kind of age they are into, they don't sometimes they don't want to learn that. They're like, "Ki puri, the entire life we have spent, yeah, what is there? Why should I learn it?
Yeah.
So I'll just learn whatever is needed for me to survive. That's it. Okay, I've survived till now without this, so I will survive further as well." So yes, that needs to change. They need to learn, but how? You need to tell them the way they understand. You need to teach them the way they understand. Life always gives you opportunity to learn again as a parent.
Yeah.
So things that you haven't done, you are able to do it with your child. So I want to grow up with him. It's very important
Yeah.
for a parent also to grow up. You don't stop there. You're just a parent, so don't stop being just a protector. Evolve with your child. Grow up with your child. That's very important.
When it comes to workplace, how do you deal with people from our age? Because nowadays, when people like us enter a workplace, they have a lot of expectations and a lot of sort of this vision of how a workplace should be.
Actually, now I can blabber. I can take out
Good,
everything, that I
good.
have against this generation.
That's the perk of questioning someone you live
Ah.
with. You know that point,
we
that
we
break
might be
point.
hearing their rant
Yeah.
on this topic. Actually, it's gone the other way around.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. This generation that we deal with is pretty informed on a lot of things. Okay. And yes, when they come in with the ideas and suggestions and everything, sometimes you do get, you know, you are taken aback at times also, that, oh, that's an innovative one. Aback in the sense, in a very positive sense, you're positively surprised. So as you said, that the generation knows a lot. Anupul, so here's this line for this generation that I'm going to say, note it down if you can. They know a lot, and that's why they're reckless. So, so please understand one thing over here. Information, a lot of information has the capacity to make you reckless. Okay, but if you have knowledge, knowledge never ever makes anyone reckless. So there's the difference. That's the difference.
Ooh, mic drop, mic drop.
That's the
Profound
difference of,
wisdom.
yes, that's the difference of the age, that you are getting an information from somewhere. You're getting information from a lot of sources. You know about it. You know social media, you know online, you know LinkedIn, you know YouTube, you know everything. Okay, you know where to put
Yeah.
the information, how to put the information, you know it. But to understand how much to put where, how to put it, what is more critical than the other, you need knowledge. And that comes with experience. So always respect the people who are your seniors. No matter if you think they don't know technology, they don't know online, they don't know stuff. Talk to them about stuff they know, and you will learn and you'll be surprised. You will be surprised. Trust me. For the older generation, for me, the old person, so what I do, I used to do in my team, if a new person comes, first of all, of course, you induct the person well. You tell that person everything that you know about the client and everything. So when a new person joins you, the person gets they should first of all feel very comfortable, and they should look at you as their go-to person, right? So of course you need to do, I do research whenever I have to talk to a candidate or a new person in my team. I do a lot of research. I introduce myself to them. I tell them about my education and everything. And then I tell them about the clients, about the work and everything. And I always take theory class with them, not like class, but I discuss things, those form basics, because it's very important. And you have to also at the same time set expectations. You have to tell them that, look, I know that you have a lot of information already with you, and you can google everything, and you know how to use these social media platforms, these new channels and everything, and I know that I can rely upon you for that. And when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to where can I get more about this information, how can I know more about this detail, and what exactly you need to know about your job, you can come to me anytime. So when you set the expectations right, the person develops a kind of respect for you. With this concept only, a lot of organizations today have started the concept of reverse mentoring. So in reverse mentoring, what happens? The juniors train the seniors, and in what the juniors can train, yeah, it happens, and it's happening in a lot of and my clients also do it in their organizations. So and to do this, of course, this is because the seniors or the senior management, they do understand the importance of the information that you guys possess. But when you are in contact with the senior, in touch with the senior who is much more knowledgeable to you, you only enhance your skills, right? And you expand your horizons. So both of you are helping each other. So that ways, I think if we bridge that gap at every level, and I'm not saying that everyone is doing that, everyone should do it. So once we start doing it, once we have this culture of mutual respect for each other, not because the other person doesn't know something, but because the person knows a thing which is of importance to you, it could be of importance to you, then I think when you develop that kind of culture and you go with that kind of discipline, things work out, and they work out pretty well.
I think that's the only way to like make friends from the other generation.
ज्ञान बरगद के पेड़ के नीचे मिलने वाला ज्ञान. Thank you for being a part of our podcast, and
Thank you, Dee. Thank you for being the first guest on our
अच्छा, मैं पहली
podcast.
हूँ.
हाँ, तुम्हें फिर से हमने chronology में पहला रखा है. Well, that was interesting. So we're not completely crazy, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we rarely get to have a perspective from someone who is in a transition from our age to our parents.
Yeah. Her take was really interesting, and I think good to know.
Yeah.
So guess what, Vijay? We are at the end of this episode. We have officially run out
Yay.
of things to say on this subject.
If you're still with us, you might feel a little disappointed that we did not reach a conclusion or preach some guidance. And I'm sorry, but this is not that kind of podcast. Our only aim is to sit back and let off some steam, and there is no way that we could give you an advice that you haven't already heard. So, why be another opinion in a sea of free advices?
Yeah, we just want to be a safety valve in your pressure cooker
Yeah.
that you're living in. Also, it's your journey, it's your process, and no one can rush that. And definitely, we don't have the right to do that. So, we only invite you into these conversations to think out loud and maybe give you an opportunity to do the same for yourself. So, if there was even a single moment where we gave you a thought that was relatable, well, know that we hear you and we're going through the same thing. So, yeah, until next time, and hopefully with more things to talk, more things to ponder over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, just because before I forget, a shout out to our podcast producer now, I would say. He is our editor, he's our graphic designer, Dhananjay Khanna. You can check him on Instagram at the rate Chal Meri Dhanno.
Yes.
And Dhanno, that's your cue.
चल धन्नो, आज तेरी पसंदी की इज्जत का सवाल है. चल.